Good afternoon. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
You are audible, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I think participants are coming back after lunch. After lunch, we have a lighter topic. We are all highly motivated individuals. So we take up motivation after lunch. So this is the chapter outline. First, we define motivation. Then we take up theories. As usual, theories of motivation starts with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, ERG theory, two-factor theory, that is motivation hygiene theory, acquired needs theory, equity theory, expectancy theory, reinforcement theory. So we have a number of theories. We learn these theories, we understand motivation better. So we have to learn theories. And finally, based on these theories, how to design a motivating work environment. So this is what we are going to learn after lunch. Now let's start with the first question. Why we are more concerned with motivation? Why managers are more concerned with motivation? Because the answer lies in the equation. Performance is a function of motivation, ability, and environment. Motivation, we are going to study in detail now. Ability, we know the capacity to carry out the job tasks. Environment, it is the environment should be supportive to perform better. Constraints should not be there, and proper equipments should be there. So that is why environment is included in this equation. Let's start with how to define motivation. So in simple terms, motivation is the desire to achieve a goal. But this desire is not enough. It should lead to goal-directed behavior. That is why the first definition is a better definition. The desire to achieve a goal or a certain level of performance leading to goal-directed behavior. But in OB, we are more concerned with achievement of organizational goals. So in an organizational context, probably the second definition is appropriate. The processes that account for an individual's intensity, direction, and persistence of effort toward attaining a goal. Intensity refers to how hard a person tries. That is the amount of effort put in by a person, intensity. Direction, whether the particular effort is to achieve the organizational objectives or not. Sometimes it may run counter to the goals of an organization. So, effort, okay, but in which direction? Does it benefit the organization or not? Direction. Persistence. How long a person can maintain this effort? Sometimes what happens initially when we undertake a project, initially we are highly motivated, we put in a lot of effort, but later we reduce our effort. So the problem with motivation is individuals differ in their level of motivation. So there are individual differences. Actually, we started with that basic concept. Individuals differ. In motivation also, individuals differ. But what we should remember is, even within an individual, the level of motivation may differ in different situations at different times. That we should remember. Today, I may be highly motivated to achieve a particular goal. Maybe next week, I'm not that much motivated. So that adds to the complexity of this concept, motivation. We take up theories. In general, there are two categories of theories. First set of theories are called need theories. Need theories focus on the needs that motivate individuals. There are certain needs, and these needs motivate individuals. The second group of theories are called process theories. They focus on the cognitive processes that occur in a person, which motivate that individual. So theories of motivation categorized into two: need theories, process theories. Need theories focus on the needs that motivate individuals. Process theories focus on the cognitive processes, the mental processes that motivate an individual. Let's start with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So actually, we find a hierarchy, a triangle. At the bottom, we find physiological needs, then safety needs, love and belonging needs. Actually, Maslow wrote love needs. Sometimes that confuse people. So nowadays, people write social needs. Then esteem needs, self-actualization needs. At the top, we have self-actualization. Even morning, we talked about self-actualization. So let us start with physiological needs. Physiological needs include the bodily needs: air, water, food, shelter, sex, clothing, etc. Then safety needs. Usually people talk about safety and security. What's the difference between safety and security? Why do we have two different words, safety and security? Can I get some answers? What's the difference between safety and security? Can I get some answers? The difference between safety and security?
Sir,
Madam, I think
safety.
yes, madam.
Sir, safety.
Please come again, sir.
Security may be of we are being a little more cautious and saving something for us to avoid the future crisis, or being careful on certain things, expecting the risk what we are going to face in future. That is what security. Safety may be for the time being, it's for a shorter term.
Okay, actually safety relates to
Sir.
your physical safety.
Sir, can I?
Yes, madam. Yes, sir.
Sir, according to my mind, that safety is a condition being protected from, I think, non-desirable outcomes, where security is again a condition being protected from harm. But I think the intentional human actions are more taking place in security.
Okay, thank you, sir. Actually, experts, what they say is safety relates to your physic safety. Security relates to your emotional security. So, safety from, for example, you should protect yourself from dangerous animals. Safety. Why do we go for insurance? If we are insured, we feel secured. So safety relates to body. Security relates to our emotions. Safety and security. So how a manager can satisfy the safety and security needs of employees? For example, safety needs.
Sir, may I?
Safety
Can I
yes,
say?
yes, yes.
Sir, according to me, I think safety is for personal and security is for the whole society.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that interpretation. But in general, safety refers to your body. Security relates to your mind, your emotion. How can a manager ensure satisfaction of safety needs? Already we are familiar with Factories Act 1948. I think you might have studied the various provisions for safety. Security, for example, Provident Fund, insurance, ESI, all these provide employees with a sense of security. So safety and security needs. Then love needs, love or social needs. We human beings have a need for affiliation. We want friends. We want company. So social needs. Then esteem needs. Maslow was very particular about both self-esteem and esteem from others. So first of all, we should respect ourselves. Then only we can expect respect from others. So esteem needs include self-esteem, respect from others, that is status, recognition, extra, attention, extra. Then at the top we have self-actualization. Yes, sir.
Sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, then why they call it it's a security force? Why not a safety force? I mean, I'm asking.
Excellent question, sir. But probably since they are on the border, you feel secure. That will be my interpretation, sir.
Okay. I just asked it.
Because they are in the border, you feel secured. The society feels secured. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Self-actualization, already I told you, becoming what one is capable of becoming. A tendency for fulfillment. We have a tendency, all of us have our own potential, and we try to actualize those potentials, becoming what one is capable of becoming. So these are 5 different needs: physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization need. 5 needs. Let's come back to Maslow's theory. According to Maslow, human beings have a set of 5 needs. Already we know these 5 needs. These 5 needs can be arranged in a hierarchy. Already we have arranged it in hierarchy. At the bottom we have physiological needs, and at the top we have self-actualization needs. So these 5 needs can be arranged in a hierarchy. Now he comes to that question: which need will motivate an individual? There are 5 needs arranged in a hierarchy. Fine. Which need will motivate an individual? He answers that question. The lowest level of need that is not currently fulfilled will motivate that individual. Suppose 1 o'clock classes end, students come out. Which need will motivate students? Obviously, physiological need. They are hungry, so they will go to mess. They take their food because at that time, physiological needs motivate. So that is why Maslow said the lowest level of need that is not currently fulfilled will motivate an individual. Next statement from Maslow: once a particular need is satisfied, that need will no longer motivate that individual. The next need upward in the hierarchy will motivate that individual. So this is the essence of Maslow's theory. Human beings have a set of 5 needs. These 5 needs can be arranged in a hierarchy. The lowest level of need that is not currently fulfilled will motivate an individual. Once a need is satisfied, that need will no longer motivate that individual. The next need upward in the hierarchy will start motivating that individual. So this is Maslow's theory, a very important theory. It's very useful for managers. So managers should know how to satisfy these 5 needs. For example, how to satisfy esteem needs, how to satisfy self-actualization needs. Actually, Maslow said the physiological needs and safety needs are lower order needs. Social, esteem, and self-actualization are higher order needs. Why? Maslow said physiological needs and safety needs are satisfied externally. You are provided with something and you feel satisfied. The top 3 needs are satisfied internally. So that is why Maslow called the top 3 needs as higher order needs. Okay. Clayton Alderfer's ERG theory. This is somewhat similar to Maslow. Maslow said there are five needs, but Alderfer says there are only 3 needs: existence, relatedness, growth needs. Existence includes actually physiological needs and safety needs of Maslow. So physiological needs and safety needs of Maslow are included under existence. Clayton Alderfer includes those 2 needs under existence. Then Maslow's social needs are included under relatedness. Esteem and self-actualization are growth needs. What are the major differences between Maslow and Alderfer's theory? I have given at the bottom. According to Clayton Alderfer, there is no ranking. There is no particular order of needs which will motivate individuals. Maslow talked about a hierarchy. The lowest level of need that is not currently fulfilled will motivate individuals. Once that need is satisfied, the next need upward in the hierarchy will start motivating, according to Maslow. But Alderfer said, no, there is no particular order. At a particular point of time, more than one need may operate. For example, at a particular point of time, a person may be motivated by both relatedness and growth needs. Right. Then Alderfer adds one more component to his theory, that is frustration regression hypothesis. If a person, for example, a person is motivated by growth need and he fails in his attempt, what he will do, he will focus on relatedness needs. I think I have seen people indulging in such behaviors. We have to accept when a person fails in a higher order need, actually here there is no order, but in growth need, then he will regress back to another need and he may focus on related need or existence need. So these are the 3 major differences between Maslow and Clayton Alderfer. No ranking or no hierarchy. More than one need may motivate an individual at a particular point of time. When a person fails in a need, the person may focus on another need. These are the differences. Clayton, Alderfer, ERG theory. Then I think this is a very important theory. Probably you may remember this theory is called two-factor theory or motivation hygiene theory. Frederick Herzberg, he collected data from people. He asked two questions. When did you feel particularly good about your job? Second question, when did you feel exceptionally bad about your job? So Herzberg collected good feelings and bad feelings. And he tabulated these feelings, good feelings and bad feelings, tabulated by Herzberg. And interestingly, he found the bad feelings are associated with job context. He called these factors as hygiene factors. They are extrinsic factors. Why extrinsic? Because they are outside the person. Job context, they are in the job context. Hygiene factors. So bad feelings are associated with these factors. Company policies, quality of supervision, relationships with superiors, relationships with colleagues, peers, relationship with subordinates, working conditions, salary, security. So, an employee's bad feelings are also, according to Herzberg, employees' bad feelings are associated with these job context factors or extrinsic factors or hygiene factors. Okay. Then what about good feelings? Good feelings are associated with the job content, achievement. Just think about when you feel you have achieved something. Recognition, the nature of work, interesting work, responsibility. You are responsible for something. Responsibility, advancement and growth. So good feelings are associated with this job content factors. Herzberg called these factors as motivators. These are intrinsic factors, inherent in the job, inherent within the person, motivators. So now we have two factors, hygiene factors, motivators. Now, my doubt is this. If you want to motivate your employees, what you should do? Suppose you are a manager and you want to motivate your employees, what you should do? If we look at these two, then motivators are achievement, recognition, interest in work, responsibility, advancement, and growth. Can we say by providing motivators, we can satisfy employees? No. So Herzberg said, first, we should remove dissatisfaction. Now, our question, how to remove dissatisfaction? Provide them with hygiene factors. You should take care of these factors first, hygiene factors. Already we know the literal meaning of the term hygiene. If the environment is hygienic, you can prevent diseases. If the environment is not hygienic, then there will be disease. Disease will occur. So first, provide hygiene factors. Take care of your company policies, quality of supervision, relationships, working conditions, salary, security. Remove dissatisfaction first. Then provide motivators. Take care of these factors. Employees will be motivated. I think We should remember this also. Traditionally, this is what we believe. The opposite of satisfaction is dissatisfaction. But according to Herzberg, the opposite of satisfaction is no satisfaction. So two extremes. There are two extremes. One is satisfaction. The other one is no satisfaction. This continuum is affected by motivators. Already we have seen what are all motivators. So if you want to influence this continuum, you have to provide appropriate motivators. Second one, according to Herzberg, the opposite of dissatisfaction is no dissatisfaction. So no dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction. If you want to influence this continuum, you have to take care of hygiene factors. So provide hygiene factors, remove dissatisfaction, provide motivators, satisfy individuals. Herzberg's theory contributed to job design a lot. We'll take up later. Right. McClelland's acquired needs theory, people call it, sometimes they call it three needs theory. This particular theory is relevant for OB, much more relevant for OB. Need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation. Need for achievement is the drive to excel. You have certain standards and you want to excel. That is need for achievement. Need for power. You want to influence others. Power is the ability to influence others. Need for power. Need for affiliation. Already we know. Social needs. Love and belonging needs. Need for affiliation. Friends, company, companionship. So need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation. These three are learned needs. That is why we call it acquired needs theory. In an organization, employees may be motivated by these needs. A particular person may be a high achiever. So that person is motivated more by need for achievement. Another person always focuses on, probably, may focus on influencing others. He is motivated by need for power. Another person, they always focus on making friends. Probably he is highly motivated by need for affiliation. So these three needs are much more relevant for organizational behavior. Such evidences support this particular theory. People are motivated by these acquired needs. But much of the research focused on need for achievement. What are the characteristics of high achievers? Even McClelland focused on that, need for achievement. There are some needs, some characteristics, like for example, they focus on tasks which have 50-50 chance of success, 50% chance. The probability is very high, or if the probability of success is very low, high achievers will not be motivated. And they also want feedback. So much research done on need for achievement. So the earlier theories focused on needs. Now we focus on what happens within a person, the cognitive processes, the mental processes. Stacey Adams' equity theory. I think this equation explains what is equity. One person, he puts in some inputs and he gets some outcomes from the organization. So inputs, outcomes. He compares his ratio of inputs, outcomes with that of another person. We call that person referent, referent other, referent. So he compares his ratio with that of another person. Now, who is that referent? What are the possibilities? There are 4 possibilities. One is self-insight. The referent may be himself in a different situation in the same organization, maybe in the past. Self-inside or self-outside, that is the same person in some other organization. Other inside, other person within this organization, or he may compare his ratio with that of other outside, some other person in some other organization. So there are 4 possibilities with regard to referent: self inside, self outside, other inside, other outside. So one person, inputs, outcomes ratio, he compares his ratio with that of a referent, the ratio of a referent. Now, if these two are equal, then there is equity. Suppose what he gets is less than what the referent gets, or what he gets is greater than what the referent gets, then there is inequity. What will happen if there is inequity? Adams has very clearly laid down what will happen, what the person will do. He may change his inputs. For example, suppose every day he works for 8 hours. Probably he may reduce the time he works for that organization. He may reduce his effort. Change inputs. Change outcomes. Probably he may try to get more from the organization. That is also possible. Try to get more. Change outcomes. Or distort perceptions of self. Just you have a perception about yourself, you distort that perception about yourself. For example, suppose x compares his ratio with that of y, and x feels he is not getting like y. So x may distort like this. After all, I am a BCom graduate, but y is a postgraduate. So this is just a distortion. So you can distort perceptions of self or distort perceptions of others, how you perceive the other person. You can make alterations in that, can make distort. Choose a different referent. X, instead of comparing with Y, may compare his ratio with that of Z. That is also possible. Or leave the field, quit. Employee may leave the organization. So, equity theory, a motivation theory. We know what is equity. If there is inequity, then the person may be motivated to indulge in these behaviors. Again, this is a very relevant theory for organizational behavior. Right. Now, in HR area, nowadays people talk about organizational justice. Actually, equity theory is a theory of distributive justice. So what is distributive justice? Distributive justice refers to perception of fairness in the rewards distributed. Employees get rewards. To what extent they perceive fairness in the distribution of rewards, that is distributive justice. So equity theory is all about that distributive justice. But now we go beyond distributive justice. There are two more justice: procedural justice, interactional justice. What is meant by procedural justice? Perception of fairness in the procedures used to determine rewards. That is procedural justice. Perception of fairness in the procedures used to determine rewards. Procedural justice. Interactional justice. Perception of fairness in the treatment. How managers treat employees. Interpersonal relationship. Perception of fairness in the way employees are treated is called interactional justice. So now managers have to take care of all the three, not necessarily distributive justice. Sometimes, even if there are differences in the rewards, if employees perceive fairness in the procedures used, they will accept. And a very important theory by Victor Vroom, expectancy theory. Much of research supports this expectancy theory. Individual effort leads to individual performance. Performance leads to rewards. Rewards lead to personal goals. Let's consider the first two variables, effort, performance. The relationship between these two, effort, performance relationship, is called expectancy. The individual asks this question. These are all mental processes, cognitive processes. So the first question is, will my effort lead to performance? Will my effort lead to performance? That is expectancy. Okay. Will performance lead to rewards? Instrumentality. Why instrumentality? Why it is called instrumentality? Because this particular level of performance is instrumental in getting certain rewards. So instrumentality. So now we get rewards. Do I value these rewards? Valence, actually. Reward, personal goals, relationship, valence. So expectancy, instrumentality, valence. Some authors write this theory as VIE theory. Motivation is equal to V into I into expectancy. Some authors write like that. I think this is a relevant theory for OB. Now the question is, how can we influence these three variables, expectancy, instrumentality, and valence? So don't forget, will my effort lead to performance? Expectancy. Will performance lead to rewards? Instrumentality. Do I value those rewards? Do I need those rewards? Valence. How can we influence these three variables? So these are the possibilities. How to influence? Make sure employees have knowledge, skills, and abilities. Ensure that the environment facilitates performance. Provide encouragement. So will my effort lead to performance? You can influence like this. Instrumentality. Will performance lead to rewards? You must reward employee performance. inform people in advance about rewards. So they should know in advance what they will get for a certain level of performance. Then try to eliminate non-performance influence over rewards. I think you will agree that there are a number of non-performance influences that will affect reward that one gets. Then how can a manager influence the balance? Basic thing is you should know what employees prefer. What do they want? You should know that. You may have a doubt. How come I know that? Maybe we need to conduct surveys. We can collect feedback. You give something and you collect feedback. We may conduct surveys. So a manager can influence the expectancy, instrumentality, and balance by these methods. This is a very important theory. I think morning also we talked about reinforcement. Probably under learning you might have studied about classical conditioning by Pavlov. Then Skinner's operant conditioning. Actually, Pavlov conducted experiments on dogs, and he called that phenomenon as conditioning. Pavlov simply called it as conditioning. Later, since B.F. Skinner came up with the operant conditioning, experts wanted to differentiate Pavlov's conditioning with from Skinner's conditioning. So they called Pavlov's conditioning as classical conditioning. So classical conditioning, operant conditioning. This reinforcement theory is based on these contributions from Ivan Pavlov and B.F. Skinner. Suppose basically what is reinforcement? What is reinforcement? A child has to do some homework. The child is not doing that. What the mother will do? What are the possibilities? Can I get some answers?
Sir, is it like reconfirming? I mean, repeatedly to confirm that yes, you can do, yes, you can do.
Or by encouragement, or persuasion. You are telling that by persuading a child we can motivate the child to complete its homework.
Yes, on a repeated basis, like reconfirming.
What normally mothers do, sir?
Like kind of a encouraging repeatedly, like suppose some child is studying and sees he is not able to perform, then giving him courage that yes, you can do that. Yes, I mean, I guess so. I don't know, am I right or wrong?
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. By persuading people.
Sir, can I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, sir, when we are talking about positive reinforcement, it is one kind of reward.
No.
So
Sir, for the time being, forget about positive, negative reinforcement. Just how will you make a child complete its homework?
Sorry, sir, how will you
motivate a child to complete homework?
There can be multiple ways. It can be by giving some chocolate. So for example, once you complete it, I will give you one chocolate.
Yes, sir. That is what normally.
And say it may be.
Correct.
Yeah,
sir.
it may be if you don't do it, I will punish you. sir, I will threaten you or something like that. I will. So this can be one option. Or maybe I will not talk with you and I will show the behavior of non-cooperation. That may be the option. So when we are talking about these options, some of are coming in positive and some is coming in negative. That's what I am
Correct,
trying
sir.
to tell.
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Absolutely correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so what we do with a child, we can do it with our employees. Reinforcement is like a reward. Just to simplify that concept, we can remember like that. It's like the reward, reinforcement. So there are two types of reinforcement: positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement, positive behavior followed by positive consequences. A salesman achieves his target. What do? We reward him. So achieving target is a positive behavior. Reward, positive consequence. What that salesman will tend to do, he will tend to repeat that behavior. Next time also he will try to achieve the target. So positive reinforcement results in the repetition of that behavior. The person will tend to repeat that behavior. Negative reinforcement, positive behavior followed by removal of negative consequences. But okay, just to understand better, before negative reinforcement, let us talk about punishment. Negative behavior followed by negative consequences. Suppose a salesperson does not achieve his target. Negative behavior. What kind of negative consequence may follow? For example, salary cut. So negative behavior, missing target, negative behavior, followed by salary cut. The next appraisal period, that salesperson is not able to achieve his target. Salary cut. A portion of his salary is cut. Next appraisal period, he misses target. Salary cut. So this is punishment. Negative behavior followed by negative consequences is you are punishing that employee. So when you punish an employee, what he will try to do? You are punishing that salesman for not achieving his target. What he will do? Next time he will try to achieve the target. So by punishing employees, we ensure that next time the employee will not repeat the same behavior. He will not display that particular negative behavior. So that is why we punish employees. Okay, now you imagine like this: a salesperson misses his target, salary cut. Next time he is not able to achieve his target, salary cut. Next time he achieves target, what we will do? When a salesman achieves his target, what we will do? We reward him. We will not cut salary. So negative reinforcement is positive behavior followed by removal of negative consequence. For example, last two appraisal periods, a salesman missed his target. He was not able to achieve target. So a portion of his salary was cut. This time he achieved his target. So there is no cut in his salary. What he will do? He will try to repeat that behavior. So positive behavior followed by removal of negative consequences will result in a tendency to repeat that positive behavior. So both positive and negative reinforcements try to increase that behavior. That's what we should remember. Both positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement will increase the probability of repeating that particular behavior. Then the fourth strategy is extinction. What happens? Sometimes negative behavior followed by removal of positive consequences. When you provide some pleasant experiences to an employee, but he comes up with a negative behavior, you remove those pleasant consequences. Now slowly that behavior will disappear. That is extinction. We know the literal meaning of the term extinction. Behavior will become extinct because positive consequences are removed. But actually, this is not only for negative behavior. Here I have written. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
can
sir.
I actually, since I am from market,
Yes,
as
sir.
I am from marketing background, can I give one example of?
Yes, sir.
Can I give
Yes, sir.
one example of extinction from that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Definitely.
Say, for example, when we saw the advertisement of multiple DOs and all, say Satwet and others, they shows that maybe in Saturdays and Sundays, when you are not using that DO, you are sitting lonely in home and nobody is coming in front of you, or you are alone in home and you are missing that parties and everything. Now, if you look at that, negative behavior followed by removal of positive consequences. So if you use that DO, then you should have go to party and enjoy, which is a positive consequence. Now it is not happening, and something negative is happening, and you are in home, which is actually one type of extinction. And an advertisement is trying to use this theory, reinforcement theory, to establish their brand name.
Yes, sir. Actually, marketers make use of these concepts. You people, you marketing people, you make use of these concepts. But my point is, under this extinction, I have written negative behavior followed by removal of positive consequences, but not necessarily. What we should remember is not necessarily negative behavior, any behavior. For example, sometimes what happens? A teacher goes to a class and he says, "My dear students, whenever you have a doubt, just raise your hand. I will clarify your doubt." So what happens? Initially, students raise their hand. Some doubts were clarified. After a period of time, suppose one student raises his hand. The teacher is not attending to that student. Then after 2 or 3 days, again the student has a doubt. He raises his hand. The teacher is not attending. After a week, again he has a doubt. He raises his hand. The teacher is not clarifying his doubt. Maybe after that, he will not raise his hand. So in that situation, raising hand is a positive behavior. In fact, the teacher himself asks the students to raise their hands whenever they have a doubt. But he is not clarifying that doubt. That behavior may become extinct. Extinct means it may disappear. Maybe after a period of time, students will not raise their hands whenever they have a doubt. So this strategy is not only for negative behavior, this may happen for positive behavior also, but we want to eliminate negative behavior. So I have written like this: extinction, negative behavior followed by removal of positive consequences. So this reinforcement theory is fully supported by research. In organizations, managers make use of these concepts. Now we take up the last subtopic: how to design a motivating environment. Usually people start with this job design or job redesign. Now, I think.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, but sometimes if we reward for any kind of achieving target, so next time I mean that reward will be the benchmark. I mean he will not do anything unless we give some reward to him. I mean that
Yes.
becomes like a I mean expectation, but at the same time that reward becomes the benchmark. Below to that he will not do it. Like chocolate giving every day will be a acceptance of the child to do something, even if for any normal work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have to think about other alternatives also. Every day we cannot give a chocolate.
Or for that matter, reward also. For every employee, if you start giving, like if you achieve the target, I mean, target, you'll get the reward. Then next time, I mean, you'll not do anything unless there is some reward system to that.
Yes, sir. They will become addicted to rewards.
Right. Right, sir.
So probably what we should do is, what are the other ways of motivating that individual? For example, suppose you cannot just go on increasing the salary to motivate people. So what we should do is there any other way other than money? For example, can I motivate this employee by giving status or by giving responsibility? So like that, we should think about other alternatives.
Right, sir. Correct, sir.
Okay, sir. Actually, we are in that area only, sir. How to design a motivating environment? You can design job so that the job motivates that individual. Job design, job redesign. Suppose already some people are performing a particular job, then you may have to modify that job so that the job motivates people. In that case, we call it job redesign. But I think I have written rotation. Here, rotation refers to job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment. But before we take up that, we should understand this theory called the job characteristics model by Hackman and Oldham. The essence of this theory is this. There are 5 core job characteristics, and these 5 core job characteristics lead to 3 psychological states, and these 3 psychological states lead to certain outcomes. So what are the various core job characteristics according to Hackman and Oldham? You just think about one particular job. One person is doing a particular job. Skill variety. Whether that particular job requires number of skills to perform that job effectively. Skill variety. A variety of skills are needed or not. Skill variety. Task identity. Whether that particular person performs a complete piece of work. That is an identifiable piece of work. Task identity. Task significance. Is it a significant activity? Does it have an impact on others or others' outcomes or on the organization? Task significance. Autonomy. To what extent that person has freedom, discretion over what he does. Then feedback. Does he get feedback? So these are the 5 core job characteristics. Skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback. These 5 core job characteristics lead to 3 psychological states. First psychological state, meaningfulness. The employee finds meaning in his job. Is it a meaningful job? Am I responsible for a piece of work, a very important piece of work, piece of activity, responsibility? Am I responsible? I feel responsible. Psychological state. If the 5 core job characteristics are adequate in a particular job, then that person may feel responsible for that. Then knowledge of results. Since there is feedback, he gets results. Then these psychological states result in these positive outcomes. Motivation, satisfaction, performance, etc. Now, we are concerned with motivation. So what will be the motivating potential score? MPS, at the bottom I have given MPS. MPS stands for motivating potential score. Hackman and Oldham have written like this: motivation potential score is equal to skill variety plus task identity, task significance divided by 3 into autonomy and feedback. So by looking at this formula, we can understand the significance of autonomy and feedback. Because you divide the first 3 by 3 into feedback, autonomy. So if you want to motivate someone, there must be skill variety, task identity, task significance, and also there must be autonomy. That is, they should have discretion over what they do and give feedback. So this is a job characteristics model supported by research evidences. Based on this model, now experts have started concepts like job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment. Job rotation, usually people used to tell about banks. If you go to bank, one particular person, now maybe in savings account section, probably after some time he will be transferred to deposit section. Then after some time he may be moved to loan section. So that is job rotation. Why he is moved across jobs? Because this reduces monotony and he learns other jobs also. Maybe after a period of time, he knows number of jobs. He becomes a real expert. So job rotation motivates individuals. Job enlargement. Job enlargement, as the name implies, horizontal expansion of jobs. Suppose one employee performs, for example, one employee performs 4 tasks in his job. Then you add 2 more tasks. So now he performs 6 tasks. Horizontal expansion of tasks, job enlargement. Job enrichment, vertical expansion of jobs. You give him more decision-making power. Actually, job enrichment, Herzberg's 2-factor theory we have seen. Herzberg's theory contributed a lot to this job redesign technique called job enrichment. So job rotation, job enlargement, job enrichment may motivate employees. Now, probably you are all familiar with this term. Everyone talks about empowerment. What is empowerment? Conger and Kanungo. Removal of conditions that make a person powerless, whatever it may be. If something makes a person feel powerless, remove it. It may be in structure, it may be in process, or it may be in people. When this concept, the empowerment, was introduced, people were confused regarding what is empowerment. What is empowerment? The more people read on empowerment, the more confusion resulted. At that time, the new edition of textbook on organizational behavior by Stephen P. Robbins appeared. And Robbins also introduced that concept, empowerment. He defined empowerment simply like this: putting employees in charge of what they do. What a simple definition. So empowerment is defined as putting employees in charge of what they do. Right. There are two types of empowerment: structural empowerment, psychological empowerment, also called felt empowerment. What is structural empowerment? As I told you earlier, if something makes a person feel powerless, you remove it. In most cases, that factor may be in the structure. So first, we have to start with structural empowerment. Then we should focus on psychological empowerment. These are the possibilities. Decision authority. Does the person have the authority to make decisions? Even minor decisions sometimes. Then leadership style. What kind of leadership style is adopted by the superiors? Organizational structure. Already we define structure as pattern of formal relationships within an organization. Maybe the kind of structure in a particular organization may make a person feel powerless. There are possibilities. Then access to information. Suppose if I don't get the information that I need to perform my job effectively, then I feel powerless. So in that case, you should provide information, access to information. Then organizational climate. We are familiar with the concept organizational culture. Organizational culture refers to the shared values and assumptions within an organization. Shared values, organizational culture. Organizational climate is shared perception. How employees perceive their company, their organization. That is shared perception of the organization is called the organizational climate. So what kind of perception employees have in general, that may make a person feel powerless. So these are the possibilities in the structure. You have to take care of this to make them feel empowered. Structural empowerment. Structural empowerment leads to psychological empowerment. If you take care of these elements in the structure, then probably the employee may feel that work is meaningful. Meaningfulness of the work. I do some work, that work is meaningful. I feel confident that I can perform the job effectively. Competence. Then autonomy, having discretion, freedom. Do I have autonomy? Then impact, whether my work affects others. Does it have an impact on the quality of product or on the quality of the work environment? So that is psychological empowerment. So structural empowerment leads to self-empowerment, also called psychological empowerment. We need to remove conditions that make a person powerless. Well, there may be a number of other possibilities to motivate employees. For example, now people talk about all these things. You are familiar with flux time. I think this picture at the top explains. So in flux time or fluxy time, there will be a core time during which all the employees must be present in the organization. And before that core time and after that core time, you have that flexible work hours. You may start early and you may finish early, or the opposite. Flux time will motivate, definitely fluxy time will motivate employees, Job sharing, I think, I don't know to what extent that picture at the bottom, two individuals standing, describes job sharing, I don't know. But both of them share a particular job sharing. Sometimes what can be done is One particular job may be shared by husband and wife. Maybe we may consider like this. Morning, husband comes and works. Afternoon, he goes back home and wife comes and works. Evening, she goes back. So one particular job can be shared by a husband and wife. Job sharing may motivate. Telecommuting. In telecommuting, people work for at least 2 days at home. They don't travel to organization. Telecommuting may motivate employees. I think I have left out one compressed work week. Now, work week, usually 6 days. We work 6 days in a week. Suppose you work for 48 hours in a week, 48. In total, you work for 48 hours in a week and 6 days in a week. Then why don't you compress that work week? Instead of 6 days, why don't you make it 5 days? Even you can increase that hours of work. Every day 10 hours, 5 into 10, 50. Some companies tried that. Some companies even tried 4 days in a week. So 4, 5. You are compressing your work week. That is compressed work week. So if employees work only for 5 days in a week, then they remain at home for 2 days. That may motivate people. That is the expectation. The compressed work week. These are the alternative work arrangements. Then there are some employee involvement programs. Whenever we use the term employee involvement, we refer to involvement in decision making. You involve employees in decision making. That is employee involvement programs. There are two major methods. One is participative management. The other one is representative participation. I think the name itself implies something. In participative management, subordinates share a significant part of decision-making authority with their superiors. Subordinates share a portion of decision-making authority with their superiors. So they participate in decision-making. So we call it participative management. Second one, representative participation. So it implies that representatives participate in decision-making. For example, work councils. I think the first picture at the bottom relates to work councils. A small group of employees, they are in the work council. They are the work council. The management, when they make a decision, they come and meet those employees. That is, they meet the work councils and they convince these employees why that particular decision or what could be done. So they consult. Even before making a decision, probably management may consult with people in the group, work council group. So representatives of the employees, that is members of the work councils, they participate in making a decision. Then the second one, board representatives. Sometimes some of the employees may be made members of the board itself, board of directors. That is also possible. So employees sit in the board and they are consulted. They participate in decision-making process. So this is how we can motivate employees, employee involvement programs. I think in India, this works better, especially in India, because in India, even now we are motivated by money more than other motivators. So what are performance incentives? Incentives that are linked to performance. Now people call it pay for performance, variable pay. There are different terms used to refer that part. There are a number of methods. For example, piece rate systems. For example, in a government unit, if a lady processes 50 units, suppose 10 rupee per unit, so 50 into 10, she gets 500. The same lady, if she processes 60 units, 60 into 10, 600, she gets 600. So depending upon the number of pieces she processes, she'll be motivated to process more. Yes, sir. So piece rate systems will motivate individuals. Individual bonus. Bonus is one-time payment, a lump sum payment made once, maybe after a period of time, or periodically employees get bonus. What we should remember is bonus is a one-time payment. I perform better, I get bonus. Next time, if I don't perform better, I don't get bonus. Next one, merit pay. In merit pay, based on past performance, my salary is increased. For example, 2% increase in my basic. That is called merit pay. So the difference between bonus and merit pay is bonus is one-time payment, whereas merit pay, if an employee gets merit pay, it is his salary increases permanently. That is the difference. Then sales commission. I think those who are in sales probably know you get a percentage. Sales commission. Awards will motivate individuals. Sometimes teamwork. In some organizations, work is organized around teams. In that case, you cannot reward individuals. So you have to provide team bonuses. Then first we will talk about profit sharing. Profit sharing, you all know. End of the year, organization earns profit. A portion, a predetermined portion of that profit is distributed among employees. That is called profit sharing. But what happens? The employees work more, but due to some other factors, the organization is not earning profit. Employees will suffer. So, in spite of effective work, why should they suffer? So we have this concept called gain sharing. In gain sharing, employees are rewarded for the reduction in cost. If employees reduce cost of doing something, then that portion is apportioned among management and employees. Gains shared. Then stock options. Now you know there are different types of stock options, but in general, employees are given the option to buy the company shares at a fixed price over a period of time. If the market value is high, then the employees will exercise their option. They will buy those shares and they may sell, but there are a number of conditions associated with that selling shares. So these are performance incentives. Now, questions and doubts. I think after lunch.
Sir, sir, actually, what is the difference between inspiration and motivation? Is there any difference, first of all?
Sure, sir. I may be inspired to become a good teacher. I may be inspired That
Okay.
inspiration is just a wish if I don't put in effort. I have to put in
Okay.
some effort. So mere inspiration to become a good teacher
Okay.
may not benefit me, but I am inspired and I put in
Okay.
some effort. Then in that case, you use the term motivation. Instead of inspiration, when I put in some effort, then you should call it motivation. So motivation comes from inspiration. Let us consider like that. Someone is
Okay.
inspired, then he is motivated to achieve that wish.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I think some of the participants asked for the PPTs. Now I'm in contact with the technical team how to send all the PPTs to participants.